Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today I'm using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder. I'm going to bring to you a really fun build just for the sake of it because, you know what, let's have a good time with a build. And I'm going to do a triple interdictor build today. Just, for the heck of it. Somebody mentioned TripDiktor in as a joke or something, and I figured, you know what, let's see if we can make it work. And I think maybe it could work. It might even be able to win a little bit. I think it'd be a great fun list to go ahead and fly. I personally only have 2 interdictors, so I can't actually fly this list, although I could probably borrow a third one from somebody else. But yeah, so we're gonna do a triple interdictor build today. I do want to remind you guys about the Super Stardestroyer giveaway, so if you're not already a subscriber, you just gotta become a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos to enter to win that. But yeah, and then I'll be announcing the winner of that on December 21st. So the idea here is I'm going to fly 3 interdictors. We're going to do suppression first. I'll do another suppression, and I'll do a combat refit because I'm going to do one that's a little different, right? And that's going to be the core of the fleet. I am going to have and I think basically the way I'm going to fly these is 2 up front and 1 behind. And the one that's going to be behind will be the top one. In kind of like a reverse triangle, right? These bottom 2 are going to be in the front, and then this one is going to be centered in the middle behind them. And we're probably going to go for second player here. Interdictors are kind of excel at being second player, so we're going to think about objectives, and we'll also at the end of the build we're going to be talking about objectives. But let's talk about some things that we can do to make this list work. So what the interdictor really has going for it is the 9 hull and the 5 engineering value and the moderate shielding all around. So because of that, we're going to increase that hull. We're going to go with Mahdi. I figure Mahdi's a good choice here. There's a lot of good choices. I think Thrawn works very well here. I think Tarkin can even work on interdictors, considering a token for them is 3 engineering points, which is it's pretty good for a token. But we're going to go with Mahdi, and I'm going to make sure that all 3 of these have targeting scramblers. Yes, you heard me right. All 3. This may be overkill, but we're really trying to prevent bad things from happening. And I think against a lot of foes, we may want to forcibly get up into close range if it comes down to it. And hopefully at long range we won't be taking that much damage. We're tough enough where we can take those long range shots without too much problem. So we've got Mahdi, we've got targeting scramblers on everybody. The other thing I'm going to give to all of them as projection experts. And the idea here is that projection experts is usually something you'll put on a support ship. But what I've been able to do, I saw an interdictor running projection experts in my last at regionals, and I just decided I was going to focus on taking down that interdictor first, so it had so it couldn't support anybody. So it was trying to spend all of its engineering just to regenerate its own shields as I was bringing it down. So I figure if you've got 2 interdictors, both with projection experts, then they can kind of feed off of each other. But if you've got maybe it's not enough to fully restore the shields of a ship that's getting shot. So I figured let's run 3 interdictors with projection experts, and then we can really restore a lot of shields. And maybe one of the 3 is actually taking a lot of fire. Well, I've got Mahdi to make sure it has all the hull. It can use its engineering to get rid of damage cards. And then the other guys can restore its shields. There's all kinds of flexibility with having this much engineering going on. So that is kind of cool. Now our Slicer Tools is still going to potentially mess with this, so we'll be tanking engineering as often as possible and using tokens or stocking up on tokens. So if nothing else, we at least have tokens to go around. But yeah, this would be a fun one. Okay, so what else do we want to run? On our flagship, we'll put Grab Shift Reroute on there. That's always a good one, and love to have that one. And I think on this other one, I'm going to put a G7X Gravwell Projector. That's generally good for objective play. I can put some, I can put Gravwell somewhere where I expect I'm going to set up the the engagement to kind of force my opponent to to either deploy at speed 0 or deploy far out of the way. It'll slow them down from getting to us right away, give me plenty of time to just sit there and collect tokens. That's great. It's also a good kind of Radis defense. In case they're thinking about dropping in a Radis ship, I can then just say, okay, it comes in and now it's at speed 0, so it can't use any of those defense tokens. And that's always great as well. So that much is really cool. It gives us some use. Now on this middle one here, the one that is going to be up front, this was the one I think might end up taking the most fire, because I'm going to also give this one heavy ion emplacements. Heavy ion emplacement. Now I could, in theory, put that on more than just the one ship, but this is a good one. This has a lot of blue. This is the one that's probably likely to be closest to the enemy. So I'm going to give a heavy ion emplacements to that one. Let's drain those shields and get it done. The Interdictor combat refit, I could have made it a little cheaper by going with another suppression refit, but I want him to be the long-range shooter. He'll have... Also, I wanted him for the anti-squadron flak to be a little more flexible, have a little more flak to roll against squadrons in case my opponent's like, you know what, I don't want to get in close with these guys. I'm just going to send my squadrons in. I wanted to have a little more flak for the squadrons, so that's kind of one of the things that led me towards the combat refit. Also, I just don't use it very much, so I said, you know what, let's go ahead and use it. Let's have some fun. Let's use it. Maybe we'll get some better long range shots. People might try to stay away from us. So I've got my 3 interdictors. We're already at 343 points. There's not a whole lot of points left. I'm going to add a 4th ship. I'm going to add a Gazanti, and this is going to sound like complete overkill, but I really don't want to lose any ships. I'm going to go ahead and give this guy repair crews. And repair crews means that he's going to be taking engineering as well, and I can, or at least have a token standing by, so I can also get rid of a damage card off of another ship. So if you really alpha strike one ship especially hard, we can hopefully fully repair it in a single turn. That is my goal. I figure if I've got a token and a command, I can get 8 on one ship. So that's 2 damage cards plus a shield. So we can get 3 damage cards and a shield just for these 2, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 more shields. So we can from a completely dead ship, almost dead, we can get rid of 3 damage cards and restore 5 shields every turn. That's really, really impressive. So I say, come at me, bro. Plus, if you get in close range, if you come at me too much, I can just keep making you reroll dice with targeting scrambler. It's just thick. I don't like that result. Reroll. So that'll be fun. It seems like, I don't know if this is the most competitive build, but sometimes it's just really cool to sit around and make fun builds. So squadrons, I'm going to put some squadrons in here. At 370, I'm actually, to feed into the entire let's be second player, I'm going to put 2 lambdas. And that may seem silly to only have the 2 lambdas without other fighters to support them. And I hear you. I hear you. We're trying something different. We're trying something different. My theory here is that the lambdas won't have to do a whole lot. My theory is that the lambdas should be able to get out there on turn 1, and maybe the Gazanti does a squadron command right away, that the lambdas can get out there on turn 1 and move a token, or 2, move 2 tokens, closer to me, just even further out of range of my opponent, and just really give me even more flexibility. And that's going to factor in to the objectives. So let's go ahead and take a look at the objectives that we're going to use, because this puts us right at 400 points. We could obviously change this up a little bit. If I were going to run a list like this exactly today, I would have to drop one of those interdictors, because like I said, I've only got 2, so I'd have to run some other stuff. Maybe I'd run a couple of Architons in place of, maybe 2 Architons in place of 1 interdictor, or something to that effect, possibly. There's some interesting options, but this is the list. It's the TripDiktor list. Let's see. So for red, there's a couple of options. First off, Most Wanted is definitely an option here. I've got the 1 Gazanti. They'll have a hard time getting to that. They'll have to go, either at long range obstructed, or they'll have to go through the interdictors, and that could be challenging. So I could see that being something they may not be able to do. So Most Wanted is definitely an option, but the thing is, it's gonna benefit my opponent at least a little bit. I'm not going to have that much firepower in this build, so I might not be able to actually take down their ships, so it may just end up being a wash. I think, it's either a toss-up between Most Wanted and Station Assault, and since I do have Grab Shift Reroute, I think Station Assault is going to be the winner, because now I can move those stations and really have some fun with that. Yeah, come right in. You have to get closer because my interdictors are in the way. So I think Station Assault's more fun, and so I'm definitely going to go with that. For yellow, it's definitely about fire lanes. It's definitely it's not the only option. Planetary Ion Cannon could work. Capture the VIP could work. Contested Outpost could work. A lot of these could easily work. Heck, Hyperspace Assault could work. That would be an interesting one. But we're going with fire lanes, because with 2 lambdas, I can pull those tokens back into my side arcs. The interdictors have, say what you will, they have good side arcs. They even have 3 dice in their rear, which is actually pretty good. So if I can manage to pull them behind my 3 interdictors, they'll be doing great. It'll be hard for opponents to get to them. I think I can manage to put them in good positions and take it really, really slow. Like, I want all my ships at speed 1, right, for this. And then for our blue, there are a couple of options here. Dangerous Territory might be a nice one. I can pull all of the objectives close to me. Make sure I can get them all like on turn 1 or 2. But the problem is I can't really get them all because my opponent gets to place some of them as well. So slightly limited there. Minefields maybe. I'm thinking that Salvage Run here is definitely the way to go. Salvage Run is a fun one because we're getting, first off tokens, so more use for the lambdas, and we're also going to have everything in the middle, so it's really going to maximize the value of Grab Shift Reroute and what that gives you. I think that's just a really fun way to run Salvage Run with interdictors and lambdas. I can fly the lambdas right into the middle of the mess, pull those tokens back even closer. This is just basically like a free 80 points for most lists. And if they send somebody up too quick to try to grab these tokens, they will be in range of a couple of interdictors firing at them. Got heavy ion emplacements, which are going to be lowering their shields. The other one's going to come down and just really wreck things quite badly. I think that's I think that's good. I think I have enough firepower to be able to take out a ship that doesn't play right, but it's not overwhelming firepower. So this is really a list that's about scoring points from objectives and hopefully having nothing die. I might lose the lambdas, maybe, but this is just a fun list to see what it can do. It's probably not going to win, any 10-1s. Probably not going to win any 8-point victories. I think a 7 is the best you hope for with a list like this, but generally you're playing for that 6-5, maybe that 7-4. The win, and those are tournament points. That means like basically how well you win. And if you're just winning by objectives, usually that means it's a close game. And in a tournament, that doesn't really get you that far. But just for fun games, a win is a win is a win. And that's all I've got to say about it here. I'll pull up the list. You guys can check it out. I'll put a link to Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder in the description below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I also want to thank my patrons on Patreon. You guys are fantastic, so I want to thank you guys so much for helping make this happen. I want to just say thank you so much for watching. That's about all I've got. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com. You can hop in Discord. You can follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, all that stuff. All the social media places out there. I'm on some of them. I'm not on all. I still don't do Instagram. I just don't really see the need for but I don't know. Anyway, all right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching and have a great day.